Hello everyone, this is Cherie. Welcome to Shelter in Place, week 10. Now quite possibly I might only have one more Shelter in Place video after this. We received email notification from work that they were going to start calling people back. So I will only be doing these videos while I'm actually not working. So I did hear some good news finally. On Thursday, I received a notification from unemployment that they finally mailed out my payment for the first 2 weeks. So it took 2 months from when I signed up for unemployment for them to mail it out. Oh well, at least it's coming. So last week's video was interesting. It took me forever to edit it because I was using Premiere Pro. And there was one thing I couldn't do, and that was cropping the size of the image, which I usually do when I'm up in the bedroom. So you probably noticed it looked different last week than like all my other videos have. My instructor did tell me how to fix it, so next time I need to do that I will be able to, but I don't think I'll do that for this video. Because I like the barn in the background there. If I crop it, you won't see it. One really cool thing that's happened is 2 little baby squirrels were born under like the little overhang of the house, and so they come out every so often, and they are so cute. I was able to take a picture of one, so I will insert that here. I was hoping they would be out now so I could get some video footage, but I don't see them. So, all right, moving it in a little closer. I don't have this on my tripod, so it's kind of shaky. Sorry about that. So I read one screenplay last week, and that was Citizen Kane, and it was like a screenplay that had actually been used during the production because there were notes on it, things crossed out. Really kind of weirdly formatted with how they did the that little like newsreel footage at the beginning, and it didn't have the writers' names on the front page either. But David Fincher is making a movie right now called Mank about the writing of that script. So I can't wait to see the movie. I love David Fincher and I love Citizen Kane. So. And I'm a screenwriter, so of course, you know, it's right up my alley. But yeah, so anyway, it was interesting to read it in its form. I wouldn't recommend, you know, for someone, you know, first time reading scripts to read that particular one with all the stuff crossed out and stuff. Now, one of the things that they took out of the movie that was in the script, and I think it was a really good idea that they did, was when Charles Foster Kane is destroying his second wife's room, and he picks up the snow globe. In the script, he actually looks at it and says, Rosebud. So like that's the second time you hear him say Rosebud. You know, there's the opening and then there's that. But I'm really glad that they took that out because I think that would have given too much away. So that was really good. And They mentioned the sled like 4 times in the script, so you know it's not like a huge surprise when you just see it at the end. And oh, spoiler alert. And then one thing that people always say was like, how did they know that his last word was Rosebud? Because no one was in the room with him. Well, in the script, as soon as he dies and says Rosebud, someone pulls the blinds down in his room. Now, in the movie, I believe the nurse walks in and she's, you know, her image is in the broken snow globe. So people think that she didn't hear it, but she wasn't the one that was inside the room. So there was another guy, and I can't remember if it's in the script or in the movie, but someone says, yeah, I heard him say it. It was like the butler or something. Yeah, I heard him say Rosebud. So that whole thing about, you know, no one was in the room with him when he died is false. And I saw 7 movies this week. 3 of them were documentaries. Now, I've seen so many movies. I don't know, like 1,000 maybe, approaching that. I've seen so many movies that I forget which movies I've seen. And so I watched one called The End of the Tour, and I'd already seen it, and I just didn't remember watching it. But as I was watching it, I'm like, oh wait, no, this is familiar. I know what's going on here. I know what's happening. So it was kind of funny. It was about the writer of Infinite Jest and another writer who interviews him for Rolling Stone. And I liked it. It was interesting. It made me want to read Infinite Jest. Then I saw GTFO, which is a documentary about women in the gaming community. I wanted to see it because of Anita Sarkeesian, who has a YouTube channel called Feminist Frequency, and I really like her video essays on that. And evidently she had been embroiled in all this like gaming backlash. And so it was interesting because, you know, I got to hear a little bit about that. But overall, the way it was structured and stuff, it wasn't, like, for me, it wasn't a great documentary. I saw Listen Up Philip, starring Jason Schwartzman. I love him. And he played a cynical writer. And I didn't really like the story that much. You know, he wasn't redeemable, really. Yeah. And then Magician, and it's called The Astonishing Life and Work of Orson Welles. So I watched that because of Citizen Kane. And again, it was okay. Just these documentaries I saw were only okay. And then the next one, The Mask You Live In, that was the follow-up to Misrepresentation. And I liked Misrepresentation better. I don't know, maybe it's just me this week, but it's just kind of like the way that these documentaries were structured just weren't that interesting to me. I saw Spirited Away. I finally got a really nice copy on DVD. I love that movie. If you haven't seen it, it's a great animation. It's from Japan, but they have English voice actors for it. And then the last movie I saw was called Woman on the Run, and it was an old black and white film noir crime movie that had been discovered or preserved, like they only had one copy, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I would probably want to watch it again. It took place mostly in San Francisco, and then at the end she goes to meet someone in Carmel, but there's an amusement park there, which I don't think Carmel has an amusement park, but anyway, so I looked it up, and they had shot this whole amusement park scene in Santa Monica, and that park's not there anymore. So this, you know, film is so great because you get all this documentation of how things were and things that were around, and even if they get demolished, you know, you have a record of it. So anyway, that was really good. So I did see a couple of movies I really liked, but like I said, the documentaries just didn't do it for me. And that's about it for my wrap-up this week. I'm going to go see if I can find the baby squirrels. I hope you're doing well, and I will see you next week for what might be the last shelter-in-place video.